Hi folks, County Line Gardener with you. Hey, we're not going to do a garden video today. We're going to talk about the garden. Garden season's over with. Sitting here on the back porch going over a few things I want to share with you. We'll just get right into it here. Let's start out. We grew corn this year, sweet corn, called Incredible. We grew 6 rows of it, 100 feet long. All of our rows are 100 feet long. Out of 6 rows, 100 feet long, 600 feet, we only got 1.5 bushels. And that didn't seem like very much to me. The corn wasn't big this year either. It wasn't as big as it should be. It's called Incredible. I don't know what it could have been. The weeds kind of took it over, because I can't bend over and hoe between every stalk, so we let it go, and I'm sure that's probably what caused it. But we're gonna try to mulch it next year. We're gonna try to put down some fabric, something like that. The green beans, man, oh man, if I had one thing in this year that went the best, it had to be our green beans. We had 800 feet of them, 8 100-foot rows, and we got 12 bushel. We got 12 bushel of green beans. We sold 11 bushels of them, and we kept a bushel for canning. Canned all kinds of green beans. The green beans did great. I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why I think they went great. We planted those May the 10th. They didn't do too good. Didn't like the looks of them, so we waited and we plowed them all up, and I replanted them. Again, all 8 rows, June the 15th. I believe I got that wrote down here. And we didn't have one weed, hardly one weed, and they grew 100% better in June than they did in May. So from now on, it's obvious I'm going to grow. I'm going to plant the seeds. I'm going to plant them in June instead of May. The same goes with my corn. I'm going to try it with the corn too. We're in no hurry. We just get in a hurry to get things in the ground. You know how it is, and we want to do it. And I guess it's too early for the dirt. The soil's just not warm enough or something. But man, we put out the green beans in 15th of June. They just took off like crazy. Great yield. Cucumbers. I put up some cucumbers out here in the raised bed. Not a good idea. Not a good idea at all. Yeah, well, they wanted to grow out of the raised bed onto the ground and all that, so we couldn't mow around like we usually do, and they didn't do too good. So after that, we pulled them out, got rid of them. I planted them up in the garden. I put up 2 pieces of cattle panel, 16 foot long, so it'd be 32 feet, and stood them up. And I planted cucumbers on both sides of that cattle panel. Spaced them apart about 2-3 inches. I know that's still close together, but they grew up that cattle panel. You got to help them a little bit. Once you get them help going up, man, they won't stop. They just grow right up it. And I've noticed we've not had any bent ones, curled on the ends. I don't know if it's from hanging there or what, but one way or the other, it helped. And we had them a little bit of Miracle Grow Quick Start, they call it. It's good stuff. You just mix it with water. It's real pretty blue. We use that on everything, except the corn, of course. I don't put it on corn. I'll tell you about what I did on the corn here in a minute. But cucumbers were good. They're good. They're still growing. They're still growing, and this is September the, I don't know, what is this today? It's September the 15th, something like that. No, I think that late. But anyway, it's September 10th. Anyway, cucumbers are doing good. Indian corn. We grow 200-foot rows of Indian corn for my wife. She likes them for ornamental purposes. She hangs them up back there in the back, and they're not even doing any good. Not worth a hoot. We've got a couple of ears off of them, but it's just not like it should be. We grow some pumpkins up there in the garden first of the year. We went up there, we go every morning, make a little garden trip, and all the plants were laying out of the ground. It had not been eaten, but they'd laying on the ground. We come to find out it was darn crows. Crows had pulled them out of the ground. Didn't eat them, just pulled them out of the ground. So anyway, once our onions were harvested up here in a raised bed, our raised beds are 16 feet long, 3 feet high, 3 feet wide. Check that, 2 feet tall, 3 feet wide. But anyway, after we picked the onions, we planted some pumpkins in that raised bed, full of compost and it's rich soil. Oh, you ought to see them back here. They're going crazy. They're going crazy. And they're all over the place. It's just beautiful. Just beautiful. We got some good sized pumpkins on there too. I'm not a pumpkin eater, but my wife likes to grow them for ornamental reasons. You know, she puts them out in the front and I carve up a couple, but every Halloween. But anyway, pumpkin's doing great. Doing great. We put peppers in one raised bed. Like I said, they're 16 feet long. All in one bed. And that's not a good idea. Peppers don't belong in a raised bed. I guess you can do it, but we mix the hot with the right next to one that's not hot, and they all, you know, they leaked into each other and they're all hot. Not real bad, but more than they should be. Peppers just didn't get big at all this year either. We grew a few in the garden. They didn't do worth a hoot either. Just, I don't know. We've got one raised bed of strawberries out there, 16 feet long, and they're doing great. They come on, and then you pick them, then they come on again. They're everbearing. They're called Seascape. Might keep a note of that, Seascape. They're really nice. They're not real big, but boy, there's a lot of them, and they're really, really good. Okay, like I said, the onions. Another 16-foot bed of onions. I buy my onions in bunches, you know, with the green on the top and the rubber banded around, and I bought them locally this year. The distributor that I usually buy them from didn't have any down there in Texas, so I had to buy them locally, and I was tickled to death with them. They just did candy onions, of course, and they just did great. I don't know how many I had, over a pound, and I'm using them now in my salsa and stuff like that. Let's keep on going here. Blackberries. Oh man, you're well aware of our blackberry patch down here. We've got 6 100-foot rows down here in the bottoms, and back there behind the garden, in the garden, is 5 more 100-foot rows. So that's 1,100 feet of blackberries. These came from Norse Farms. I think they're on the East Coast somewhere. Originally, they're called Primark Freedom, Primark Traveler, Wichita, which starts with a Q, I think, and Navajo. and they're still growing. The Primarchs are still, they're blooming again. But we've had this summer our best crop of blackberries. We've sold over 41 gallons. I don't know how many pounds that is. I think it's 3 or 4 pounds a gallon, but my goodness, my wife can go down there every day and pick a gallon of blackberries, and they are so good. So good. Now this year, our garden used to be 350 long feet, 125 feet wide. I had a 5-row electric fence around it. We took the fence down last year. It's so much nicer than just go in and out anywhere you want to now. The animals aren't bothering us that bad. Couldn't stop them crows anyway. But anyway, that's the only problem we had with that. But we cut it in half. We cut that garden down to half, and we're letting that other go to, if you'll watch on the other garden update videos, you'll see we've let it grow back to grass, and it looks great, like it used to be, and made the neighbors a little bit happier too. They liked it better when it was grass for some reason. That's about all I got. I just wanted to. We tried something in our raised beds this year. I haven't got to the tomatoes yet because I wanted to. We put marigold flowers on each end and in the middle, a few, in each raised bed we had. We have 9 raised beds. Not one bug. We did not have one bug this year. Never had to spray them, and you can smell them marigolds right now. They're still blooming out there. They're beautiful. They say that those marigolds, the bugs don't like the smell of it, and we're firm believers in that. We will always do it now, from now on, and we're going to put them in the garden, the big garden next year. I'm going to say our garden, I'm going to say it's still 200 feet long by 125 wide, and it's plenty big enough for us. There's just 2 of us here. No potatoes, unless you, I didn't mention potatoes because we didn't grow any. We haven't for a couple of years. For a good reason. We don't eat a lot of potatoes. I thought we did. My wife said we don't go through 5 pounds of potatoes in a month. So they're just not worth, to me, the trouble. Go up there, hill them, then you have to spray. We had to spray them once a week. You know, every Saturday morning we'd spray those potatoes with 7 concentrate spray to get rid of those Colorado potato bugs. They just eat that plant up. And you know, if it eats the plant up, it ruins the potatoes. So anyway, last year we planted them, we just didn't have a very good yield. So we don't do it no more. And it takes up a lot of garden space too. But anyway, I kind of miss putting them out, but always have all my life. But they're not worth the trouble to me anyway. Tomatoes. This was a year we grew. Last year we sold, well, we harvested, I think it was 740 some pounds of tomatoes. Think about that a minute. 740 some pounds of tomatoes. That is a lot of tomatoes. That is way more than I could handle. Anyway, we had about 200 plants last year. 220, I don't know. I don't recall. But we added more. We added 3 more big 60-foot raised beds this year, so we had 9 out here now. But anyway, we ended up, let's see here, I got it wrote down here somewhere. We had about 130 total plants this year. 130 total plants, tomato plants. We had a couple of cherry tomato plants around the greenhouse. We had 36 or about 32 in the garden, the big garden, and 96 in these raised beds. And we did very good, very well on the tomatoes this year. The rains this year came pretty good, pretty good. I think we only had to water, well, my wife, she watered about every night out here where the hose will reach, but up there in the garden, we have a 35-gallon tank we put in a golf cart, and we probably watered 2 times, because we did have a little drought about 11, 12 days once, and so we watered. But all in all, it's been a really good year for rain. About come when it should. Sometimes it's a little too much, but it never did flood anything. But the tomatoes were they were outstanding. They were outstanding, and I have found this year and last year, I think I mentioned it last year, we have found a tomato that we absolutely love to can, and that's called an Amish paste. They get pretty good size this year, pretty good size last year, and they're so easy to process. The core, and you peel them, and you get them hot water, and then the peeling just peels off. No need for a knife or anything, and they're firm, meaty, and very few seeds. They just do great for. That's my pick for a paste tomato. I wouldn't give you a hoot and a holler for aroma. I just can't grow them. I can't grow them very big anyway. They're about golf ball size, maybe even smaller than that. But I used to think San Marzanos were a good paste tomato, and they are. But they're too small for me. They are a good tomato, but that Amish paste, man, can't beat it. This coming year, I'm going to try to grow a different tomato plant each year. I get rid of one and add one. I don't remember what it was I added this year. I don't recall a whopper. I started a whopper. I figured by the name, man, that ought to be a good tomato. Well, it wasn't. It wasn't worth a hoot. I have a friend on YouTube that grew a tomato he highly recommends called a red snapper. Never heard of him, but he showed me some of them. He's got a video of it's as big as the palm of his hand. It's big, red, meaty looking tomato. So we'll try them. We're going to try them. We buy all of our tomato seeds, all of them, at a place online called Totally Tomatoes. They're good to us. They always get them to us quick, and they're about as price-wise, they're about the same as anybody else. Another good place for me to buy my seeds is Ohio. I think Ohio Heirloom Seeds or something like that. Real good guy. He takes care of me with the peppers. I mean, Totally Tomatoes has peppers too, but we did real well this year. Raised beds were just wonderful, and I think it was just a direct result of the compost we bought and put in it. I don't know, a dumper truckload of it. But the marigolds, man, I just can't get over how that marigolds, how well they did. Some of my tomatoes this year, it took them forever to ripen, to redden. And I don't know if that was because it was so hot here. I don't know how many days we had where it was over 90 degrees, which is unusual for southern Indiana. But man, it was hot. My wife cooled them down. She watered them every night. The ones here in the raised beds. But anyway, we're real happy with everything. My wife's roses over there against the garage are growing great. done a lot of mowing this summer. I'm glad when it starts slowing down, because I'm tired of mowing. But let's see, I can't think of anything else. The sweet corn I use is called Incredible. I don't know if I told you that. The green beans I use, in case you're wondering, are called Jade 2. Wonderful, wonderful green bean. I tried some others called a Strike one time, they were good. They weren't near as big. Oh man, you can't beat the Jades. Tomato wise, I plant 40 different kinds every year. You know, we sell tomato plants here at the house, out of the greenhouse. We start them in the garage, in the seedling greenhouse over there. And I told you this last year. I save the plants I'm going to put in the garden. I kept in the greenhouse. Or, no, not in the, I kept them in the garage under the lights until the day I took them up there. Wrong thing to do. Them plants have got to harden off. You can harden them off by putting them in the greenhouse. And they did. But I had to replace, about 30 or 40 up there a couple of years ago because I didn't harden them off. And I hardened them off this year, didn't lose one. I think I lost 4. But anyway, that wasn't the reason. Grew a lot of yellow tomatoes this year. One whole 16-foot raised bed. That was too many because we don't process yellow tomatoes. They're just too hard to peel. They fall apart. But I'm going to get off of here. I just sit here all day long. I'm retired. I sit here, not all day long, but I sit here and feed my birds. I got 8, 9 bird houses around here. I feed my birds and like to watch them. Hummingbirds. Have a really good time. So I won't get off here now. So I can't think of anything else. I think I got it all. Made it through the virus without. I got it, but it never put me in bed for a couple of days. But daggone wife of mine, I don't know if she's just mean and ornery or what, but she never got it. She was around everybody that had it. But anyway, we're over it. Feel great. Not complaining anyway. So I'll tell you what, this may be the last gardening video I do. I may do one more update, you know, in October. I don't know what I'd show you because it should be all plowed down by then. But we'll see you in about a month, okay? So for now, this is County Line Gardener saying bye-bye.